now playing in college? And how many of you were planning on going pro? So, if that many of you were playing in high school, but the ultimate goal wasn't to play professionally, what was the point? You might have played because of all the qualities and skills that you learned on the court or field that would benefit you off the court or field. One of these qualities is the ability to be coached. I played sports in high school as well, and I was able to observe my peers who participated with me, as well as research this topic in order to learn myself why this trait was so important. The ability to be coached can be beneficial throughout life. I'm going to talk about what coachability is, why that it's important, and finally, what happens when people lack this trait. First off, you may be wondering what I mean by being able to be coached. Well, as I was researching this topic, I found an article entitled Coachability, What It Is, Why It Matters, and How to Measure It, which summed up what it means to be coachable in 3 qualities. The first quality is the interest and willingness to learn. The second is the ability to seek out, accept, and integrate feedback without being defensive. And the third quality it takes to be coachable is the demonstration of attempt to try new actions to get improved results. To put these all 3 in perspective, an example would be if a basketball player realizes that they're not the best player on the team, so they approach their coach and ask them how they can improve. The coach informs them that they're not the best free throw shooter and they should work on them more, and they instruct them how to improve their free throws. The player would then take this information without being defensive, and they would work on their free throws after practice and put in the extra time in order to improve their overall free throw percentage. So why is this important? In the short term, children who display this trait will often see more playing time because of their because of their willingness to learn. And with more time and practice, and as they get older, the kids will often see more improvement in their athleticism because of the display of these qualities. However, the overwhelming importance of coachability appears in the long term when these coachable kids enter the workforce. They often will see advancements in their companies and receive promotions because their managers and other higher-ups see them as potentially good leaders themselves, because those who can be coached often make the best coaches. Now that I've explained the benefits of coachability, I will now talk about what the absence of these qualities how they can potentially be a problem. In sports, problems arise during practices if coaches aren't able to improve their players because the players do not listen to or respect them. Sometimes is because the players believe that they're better than the coach. This lack of humility, it doesn't leave very much for improvement. The next problem is if the player doesn't accept the information that the coach provides them. According to an article entitled How Coachable Is Your Kid and Why It Matters, accessed February 15th, this often shows up in games. When a player goes rogue or does the opposite of what a coach wants them to. This often leads to bad consequences for the player as well as the team as a whole. On the business side of things, if an employee is performing a task incorrectly or unsafely, they need to be able to learn how to fix this problem. If they're not able to do so, they may not receive promotions, not get a pay raise, or worst case scenario, they could get fired. In conclusion, you can now see how the ability to be coached can be beneficial in sports as well as business. This is because I talked about what it takes to be coachable, why that's important, and some consequences of not being coachable. So, even though you may not be a professional athlete, at least you were able to take something away from all of those practices